Hey there, and thank you for clicking on this video. I am so excited that it is finally Women's History Month, March 2021. We are honoring all the amazing women in history that have done things for us and for society. And that is just like, why would I not want to celebrate that? So I decided to take it upon myself to share with you the 5 women musical artists that I listen to nonstop during March to keep my empowerment levels high and my, spirit ready to go to fight for women everywhere. I hope you feel the same way. If you are wanting to know a few more female artists that you can listen to for Women's History Month 2021, then this is the right video for you, and we should just get into it. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you're with us today. My name is Lucy Claire, and I am just so pumped to show you these records that showcase the amazing artistry of many feminist women artists through the ages. I know that there are a ton of women in music history that could be honored today and could be included in this video, but I'm going to do a few of my personal favorites. And if you have a personal favorite that I don't include here, which I'm sure you will, please put a comment down in the comment section below so that I can get to know more feminist artists. I'm willing to expand this video if I end up doing it next year. So please tell us who your favorite feminist artists are. And I wish that I could honor all of them, but sadly I am just one person and can't, do a list of names. And I know you would be tired of that too. So I've narrowed it down to 5 and am happy to hear about all the women that you think should be on this list. I'm sure they should be, and I'm just don't have them on here. So now I'm going to tell you about the 5 women that I have chosen in particular for this video. Hopefully you will feel the same way about these women, and if not, maybe you can learn something, or maybe you can teach us something in the comments down below about a woman I have forgotten. The first feminist artist that I want to talk about today that you should be listening to in March 2021 is Carly Simon. This particular album is her self-titled album, and it has some of her greatest hits like You're So Vain. But I want to talk a little bit about Carly Simon herself and why I decided to include her on this list of artists. She was born in the Bronx in 1945, and after having to deal with some abusive family members, developed a stutter in response to that trauma. While she was singing, she didn't have quite a prominent stutter, and it helped her to feel more confident, so music became a big, huge part of her life. She became popular with a string of really big hit recordings in the 1970s, and one of those is her favorite, chart-topping You're So Vain. That song is kind of the reason that I've included Carly Simon on this list. Not only is it a very interesting song musically, but it also has a lot of feminist themes that are really important for this month. The song is about one of Simon's self-absorbed ex-lovers and how she had to cope with a narcissistic partner, and it has become enshrined as a feminist anthem for women speaking back against narcissistic men that take a lot from them but don't give anything back. It is definitely a career-defining song for Carly Simon. There is something very timelessly feminist about the message that she portrays in the song that I think is worth giving a listen. I also would totally suggest checking out the rest of her discography for this month. I definitely think that there is a long list of songs that could be included in any feminist playlist, so go ahead and check out Carly Simon for Women's History Month 2021. The second artist that I want to talk about today is the one and only Joan Baez. This album specifically is the first 10 years of Joan Baez's discography, and it is a thick record itself. It's got tons of tracks on it. If you're looking to get a good start on a Joan Baez collection after watching this video, I definitely recommend this collection. Baez was born in 1941 in Staten Island, New York. She is known for being one of the more prominent protest and social justice singers of the 1960s and 1970s. She's a well-known friend of Bob Dylan and definitely continues music in sort of that strain, certainly folk music with a powerful message. She is recognized for merging her musical career with her social justice and protest career, and that is something very admirable about her. She is one of those artists that doesn't like to identify herself by labels, which is very cool. She always says if she has to be defined by labels, the first label would be human being, the second would be pacifist, and then if you have to get all the way to the third, it can be folk singer. She marched with Martin Luther King and placed herself in positions of danger and struggle just so that she could be part of the movement for peace and justice. She is by far one of the coolest women of the 20th century and definitely one of the most influential artists I can think of for Women's History Month. I would definitely suggest checking out all of her discography if you can. Her music is so poignantly political and sadly still relevant, and if you are looking for a way to get into 60s and 70s protest music, Joan Baez is a great way to do that, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention her name in this list. The next group that you should listen to for Women's History Month is The Supremes. Da, da, da. This specific album is Where Did Our Love Go? It has lots of wonderful hits by the Supremes on it, but I definitely want to talk about the Supremes as feminist icons. They're one of the most famous and influential women's groups of the 1960s, and especially for the Motown movement. As Black female artists, they were definitely put in tons of boxes and held back from certain events, and that never really stopped them from being chart-topping successes. They worked very hard to put themselves in positions of success. They were successful based on the amount of hard work and dedication they had to their music, which makes them an excellent selection for this list. I don't think anyone's going to argue that the Supremes shouldn't be on this list. They really helped to push Motown into the mainstream. That in itself is a very foundational part of the music industry because the 60s are known for Motown, and the Supremes are one of the reasons that that is true. Definitely a group that used their power as women to continue to push the social boundaries, and I felt like they just had to be on this list. The fourth artist that you should listen to in March 2021 is Cyndi Lauper. This is her album She's So Unusual, a 1980s sensation. Born in 1953 in Brooklyn, New York. Man, all of these women have been from New York so far. Lauper was a kind of a wild child. She was expelled from school and was always dyeing her hair different colors, so it is natural for us to include her on this list of women blazing a trail for themselves. And her song Girls Just Wanna Have Fun is definitely one of the songs that I would include on a playlist of songs that you need to have listened to in March 2021. Not only because it's fun to listen to, but also because it is such a foundational way to think of feminism. Girls just want to have fun. They want to do all the things that men want to do, and it is crazy that they are held to different standards than men, and that's really what Cyndi Lauper is talking about in that song, at least in my opinion, and I feel like that's what she said in interviews, but I might be wrong. She is an excellent inclusion on this list, and I definitely recommend you check out her discography. Her album She's So Unusual is a favorite of mine and was one of the things that I got for my parents' collection, but I would recommend that you listen to Cyndi Lauper as a whole. She is still out there making music, so don't hesitate to get into a Cyndi Lauper phase. I know that we all go through it. The fifth and final inclusion on this list of feminist artists that you need to listen to for 2024, that you absolutely need to listen to for March 2021 or Women's History Month, is my good old favorite Dolly Parton. If you have been following my channel for a while, you will know that I am a serious Dolly Parton fan. I did a whole video about how Dolly Parton is a feminist, and it will be in one of these corners, either one, I'm not sure. I suggest if you want an in-depth video about Dolly Parton, check out that video. It is a very good in-depth look at her career and what makes her such a salient example of feminism in a more underground, subversive kind of way that allows her to reach out to a more broad audience. This album is just a greatest hits album, but it's got that classic Dolly flair. And if you like Dolly but just want a list of greatest hits, this is a good album to start with. I definitely recommend that you check out absolutely all of Dolly Parton's discography if you want a good feminist playlist. She has tons and tons of songs about being a empowered woman. As a country artist, that is even more difficult to do in a way that gets your audience engaged. So she is just still blazing the way for women everywhere. That was it. If all those artists are on your playlist for March 2021, you will be great for celebrating Women's History Month. There is no way that you can go wrong. And if you don't mind leaving in the comments below who your favorite feminist artist is, or your favorite woman artist that you would like to share with the rest of us to listen to for Women's History Month, that would be much appreciated. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if this is your very first time coming across one of my videos or my channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any future content coming from my channel. I post every Friday at 4:15 p.m. PST, so you can look forward to that if you subscribe. With all that said and done, I thank you for watching to the end, and I'll see you next week.